I'm Lori Hogan, Chair of the Library Board of Trustees, and on behalf of all of the library trustees, I want to welcome you all to the grand opening of the newly renovated and expanded Shrewsbury Public Library. Today we celebrate our new library and all the people who made this day possible. The journey to expand our library began 18 years ago, and although the journey has been long and challenging, don't you agree that this is the most amazing library we could have built? We are pleased and honored that with us today are our Lieutenant Governor, Karen Polito, and Senator Mike Moore will be with us, and Representative Hannah Kane. I'm sure they're busy, but they'll be here. We have Commissioner Roland Oceanbine with us as well. Our members of our Board of Selectmen, Maurice DiPaolo, also Moira Miller, John LeBeau, and Henry Fitzgerald are with us. Thank you for being here. We have our town manager, Dan Morgado, and members of the Library Building Committee, like Mike Lappamato, Bridget Rubin, Francis Manella, Jack Peralt, Joan Barry, and Moira, of course, Ellen Dolan, and Bob Cox. So we thank them. And we also have our Superintendent of Schools, Joe Sawyer, and School Committee member, Dale McGee, with us today. So thank you for being here. What? Oh, Angela Snell, and a Chief of Police is with us? Fire Chief. Thank you. We will begin with an invocation by Reverend Lynn Dolan of the First Congregational Church.
Let us be together in the spirit of prayer. For all our many blessings, we offer our profound gratitude this day. For the vision to create a new space where people could gather and where hearts and minds could expand and be opened to new and wonderful things, we offer our thanks. For the people who boldly articulated this vision and trusted that the community would support the extraordinary efforts to bring it to fruition, we offer our thanks. For the perseverance of many people who understood that libraries have not yet gone the way of dinosaurs and who believe in their immeasurable value, we offer our thanks. For the patience of the library staff to serve the community in borrowed space, knowing that this sacrifice was temporary and the end result would be worth their many efforts, we offer our thanks. For the workers who dug the hole and laid the foundation and attended to every detail in order to move this project from conception to completion in good and bad weather, day in and day out, we offer our thanks. For the thoughtful, capable people who were good stewards of the financial and personnel resources that were able to finish this project in a timely and responsible manner, we offer our thanks. We have been entrusted with this extraordinary gift. It is now ours to treasure and care for and honor as our neighbors and friends have before us. Fill us then, O God, not only with good books, but with a spirit of hope, love, and generosity upon which it was conceived. May it be so. Amen.
Thank you. Now we will do the presentation of colors by the Shrewsbury Veterans Council. Oh, please stand. Thank you. If you would remain standing, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. We will invite our Shrewsbury High School student Sophie Chen to come forward and the Shrewsbury High School a cappella choir to come forward before we do the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They won't leave without you. Thank you. You can be seated. We invited Sophie to do our Pledge of Allegiance today because she's a very special young lady. When Sophie was 6 years old, she spearheaded an effort to raise funds for the library. Sophie decorated a box to ask for donations at a neighborhood block party. Her efforts generated over $100. She said, "I like doing what is best for my town. If everyone helps, it will be a lot of money." And we're happy to report that everyone did help, and it was a lot of money as we reached our fundraising goal. So thank you for starting us out, Sophie. We will now go to the remarks, and we would like to invite Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito to come forward. Come on up. Just want to say a few words about Karen. Karen has certainly been a friend to the library through the years. As our state rep, she was very helpful in the early years when we were applying for the grant to help build this library. And Karen was always there when we needed someone to help us and for advice. So we thank you so much, Karen, for all you've done for us. Congratulations.
Well, good morning, everyone, and a good morning and a beautiful morning it is. I remember 2 years ago coming to the kickoff groundbreaking of this project, and it wasn't as beautiful and sunny as this. It was quite rainy, and I remember it because I think it was the day after Charlie and I were elected to office, so there was a lot going on that day. But it was a really important day to continue the journey of making this beautiful home of a library a reality here in our great town of Shrewsbury. I just want to just highlight a few people along this journey that really made today a reality. And it starts with Laurie Hogan and, of course, her husband, Matt. They were tireless in their efforts to make sure this day would come. These projects don't just happen. It takes a lot of collaboration. It took a lot of discussion, some revisions along the way, and for Matt, unfortunately, a lot of asks. A thankless job for sure. But I know anyone that has had success in a project or in your own personal goals know that you have to grind it out. And I think you describe it as perseverance, and that's exactly what Laurie and Matt brought to this project and more. I would also like to recognize the selectmen, the building committee, the trustees, current and former trustees. I remember those conversations, Bernie, with George Strom. How many conversations everywhere we would go in town, he'd talk about the library and the need to make it a beautiful library for the future. George is very happy today, Bernie, and we're happy to have this day come. I would also like to thank Ellen. Every project needs someone that's going to focus on it 24/7, and that was Ellen Dolan. You really made us proud here and our Commonwealth proud. And your predecessor, Bonnie O'Brien, she and George were the ones scheming about this project long ago, so good for all of you. Do want to thank also Roland, our commissioner, who's going to talk a little about our beloved library building fund here in Massachusetts. Not every state has a fund like this, and they certainly, those dollars certainly are what make a difference in having these projects come to fruition. And with the project this size, the $8 million that could have gone elsewhere if along the journey people like Ellen and others didn't stay focused on this. We want to thank you and the commissioners for making sure that those funds remained available to Shrewsbury and that you believed in us, that we would get this done. So to all of you, thank you. And to the leadership in this community, I am very proud of all of you. When I was thinking about coming to this conversation today, I was thinking about what informs me in my role now as Lieutenant Governor. A lot of the work I do is around building stronger communities across our state. And my experiences growing up in Shrewsbury are what most inform my role now as your Lieutenant Governor. And when I think about growing up here in Shrewsbury, I think about the things that made a difference for me in my life. Certainly, the key parts of what make a great community are your schools. You need great schools no matter what neighborhood you're in. And in this community, all of our elementary schools and beyond are all great schools. How fortunate we are. It also requires every community to have a strong safety net. And in this community, from our emergency services to our police officers, and then the human services part of that safety net, from St. Anne's to Shrewsbury Youth and Family Services, all of that makes up a strong safety net in this community. And this library and the programs and the opportunities that this building and all of the people who work here bring to our community is indeed part of that safety net. And today, you have just strengthened this safety net for many decades to come here in Shrewsbury, and that's very, very important. Jobs, opportunities, all of that make for a strong community. My family, my mom and dad are here, Fran and Judy, were able to build a life around an opportunity to grow a family business. And a lot of what you learn are in your schools or in places like this to strengthen your skills, access knowledge to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to follow a career path and be successful in life. So today it's evident that Shrewsbury's getting it all right. And the other measure of success in a community is when that next generation has the opportunity to then lay their own roots, start their own family, begin their own career. And in this project, all the people that contributed, many of them are either people that maybe have lived here a short period of time, but I know the longtime families in this community that have children and grandchildren growing up here have all given because they know that this is important to do. And so coming here today, we all have a responsibility to stand on the shoulders of those who came before us and do even more. And I couldn't help but think about the shoulders that I stood on with my parents and then my grandfather, Bob Lutz, who is really happy today for all of us as well. Someone who grew up here from age 8. He would tell us all the stories. Went to school where the Historical Society is now. He remembers the Cushing Tavern that sits, or used to sit right here where the library is and the town hall on the corner. He would talk about Jubal Howe and how successful he was, and that he's the one that gifted the Jubal Howe part of the library. And Artemis Ward, we have some of the family members here today. Marcia and the Smiths are here. And he talked to me about, obviously, the Bugatti family and what they were able to do for our community. The bookmobile was part of my experience growing up and sparked my interest in wanting to read and learn more. And now today we're at the current version of what a library means to our community, not just for today, but for 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe more, 100 years to come. So we should all be very, very proud of that. And in my own personal experiences growing up as a young girl here, I remember walking to this library, heading up to the room upstairs, spreading out across those big tables, doing my homework, and learning the Dewey Decimal System and the card catalog and how friendly all the librarians were then and are now, and getting your first library card, all those exciting things. And for me, this is a full circle experience, because the other day, my daughter Judy, who was 11 years old, came home from school so excited to tell me that she walked to the library and she studied every inch of this building. And she said, you should see how big the children's room is, and you should see the teen center. They have a place for us, and you should see this learning lab, and it's so beautiful. I can't wait to go again. So I am very grateful to all of you for really working hard, not being distracted by the things that we could disagree about, but being focused on what we agreed on and getting this job done. This is a proud moment for all of us. I'm very proud as a resident, third generation resident here, and I'm proud as your Lieutenant Governor to call this library our newest in the Commonwealth. God bless you all, and thank you.
We'll have, actually, Hannah just arrived. So Hannah, if you'd like to step right up, our State Representative Hannah Kane. I'm going to come over this side. Just a few words about Hannah. Hannah certainly has been part of this project from the very beginning. Before she was state rep, she was a member of our voter campaign committee in 2011 and 2013. And gave us a lot of good advice and actually helped a lot. I mean, really told us what to do, especially in the first campaign. And has been a library supporter all along, as well as your husband, Jim Kane, who's one of our selectmen. So we appreciate your support through the years, Hannah, and your being a friend. And now as our state rep, we know that when we have an issue, we can call on you. We know that you support libraries all the way. So thank you so much for all you've done for us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize for being late. I have a sick child today. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here and to look around this room and to see so many faces of so many people who worked so hard to bring us to this spot today. And I want to acknowledge all of you for working so tirelessly on this project and to make this tremendous community resource a reality, and to ensure our library's rightful spot in the role of society for the next generations to come in Shrewsbury. And to me, the greatest gift we've given the next generation of Shrewsbury children is not actually what we did, but it was the how we did it. In just a few short years in Shrewsbury, we've taught our children how to be proper community stewards. We've built and rebuilt the core functions of a vibrant community: a fire station, a middle school, a library. And we've worked to ensure not just that the buildings are built, but the operations endure. We've taught our children the value of working together, of listening to opposing points of view, of knowing that sometimes the long game is necessary and setbacks will occur, but our resilience and fortitude will determine our future, not the occasional speed bumps. And they have learned to take pride in a job well done and to feel ownership of our community's successes. We are teaching our children that you do not have to own that which can bring you joy. Our son Patrick, like Judy, is a 5th grader. At the end of the 2nd week of school, he and his friend Matt participated in one of the beloved rites of passage of being a 5th grader at Sherwood, and they walked home on a Friday afternoon. Actually, their target was Dean Park Pizza, because nothing says kicking back for the weekend like a 10-year-old eating at Dean Park Pizza with a friend. But unbeknownst and unplanned, Patrick and his friend Matt took it upon themselves to come into the new library as they passed it and explore all it had to offer. I had similar recollections at home that night. Now, I should probably be slightly worried as a parent that my 10-year-old son is gallivanting around town and getting seated without issue at Dean Park Pizza. But what I took great joy in is that this building enticed in 2 5th graders because they wanted to see it. They understood the effort it took to open these doors, and their connection to this building as young members of our community is invaluable. Clearly, the greater lessons of being good stewards of our community are the lessons that those of us sitting here now learned many years ago. And that is what drew Jim and I to be such strong supporters of our library, our own childhood influences and the impact of libraries had on our own lives and those we love. For us, it isn't the Shrewsbury Library per se that impacted us. It's our overall connection to libraries and the value we place on them. When my husband Jim was young, he learned that following the death of his great-grandfather in Boston, his grandmother's family would go to the Boston Public Library at night to stay warm and to seek out others. For Jim, he realized in hearing his critical family story that the library isn't just a home for books, but a critical community link, a source of refuge where a quiet corner reading a book can be a place away from a poor situation at home, a welcoming social interaction for those who need it, a place to do quiet research for a high school project, and a living and connected resource for those folks new to town, and for those looking to access job opportunities and networking. My own affinity for libraries comes from walking to the local library with my grandmothers. For my grandmothers, neither of whom had their license, it was someplace to go without relying on anyone else. One of my grandmothers was legally blind, and later in life, she relied on books on tape provided by the Maine State Library. My aunt and uncle were librarians near my home in Maine, and my insatiable love of reading was inspired in part by the opportunity to take out books to enjoy reading at home. And I vividly recall my own school library, where in 5th grade I discovered the Nancy Drew series, and I read every single one of them over and over again. Gratifying to me is that my children have continued the tradition of connecting to libraries through their grandparents in an intergenerational opportunity. My husband's mother is very involved in her library in Marlborough, and when our children were young, they enjoyed checking out books to read at Grandma and Grandpa's house. And for years, my daughter Caitlin has enjoyed helping my mother-in-law out on the annual book sale. The Marlborough Public Library is also space and parking challenged and is at the very early stages of embarking on their own capital campaign. My pragmatic, no-nonsense daughter Caitlin advised my mother-in-law that she probably shouldn't invest since she likely won't be here to see the final product. And now we have a beautiful new library in Shrewsbury, so they don't need to go there. Oddly, I think my husband appreciated this investment advice from my daughter to his parents. Our community is so very fortunate to have prevailed in our effort to build a beautiful and efficient library, which preserves our great history while anticipating a very bright future for all of us. Thank you all to those of you who made this happen, through small effort or large, from door knocking to campaign leadership, through pennies for construction to a priceless children's outdoor space. Your involvement drove us to this beautiful landing spot. I am so proud to represent this terrific community, and I come here today to simply say thank you for a magnificent job well done. I also bring with me from the House of Representatives a citation which offers the sincerest congratulations of the Mass House of Representatives to Ellen Dolan, the Library Building Committee, and the Library Board of Trustees in recognition of the joyous occasion of the grand opening of the renovated and reconstructed beloved Shrewsbury Town Library, which will serve as an important resource, community center, and central meeting place for all of our residents, old and young, to enjoy for years to come. The entire membership extends its very best wishes, and it's stated today and signed by the Speaker of the House and myself. Congratulations, Lori.
Our next speaker is Maurice DiPaolo, Chairman of the Shrewsbury Board of Selectmen. And it's very fitting that Mo is speaking to us today because Mo actually has been here during this 18-year journey as our selectman and has been a champion for this project since the very beginning. And we have always appreciated the fact that we knew we could go to Mo and the other selectmen as well. But I think Mo always had a very special place in his heart for the library. So thank you, Mo, for all you've done.
Thank you, Laurie. I have to tell you, every time I get up in one of these events, it's always intimidating because I'm always behind these two great speakers. And my prep is a little bit different than theirs, few scribbled notes on the pad. But I think we can summarize this whole project in one word: wow. Just wow. When I walked in the first day, I could not believe what I saw. I hadn't been up the library only once. I think it was back in September or October. It was nowhere near done, and I was really, really amazed. It's just a great, great job, the result of a great effort. And, you know, we need to recognize the people who actually built the building. First, we have to recognize Mike Pagano and Lammaro Pagano for the excellent design. Really great job. Fontaine Brothers, this was their second project for Shrewsbury. Another great job. They're great contractors. We're happy to have them, and I want to congratulate them on the great work that they did also. And then we have Pma Consulting, our owner's project manager, who helped keep an eye on the project, work with the architect, work with the contractors, work with the building committee to make sure everything was being done just the way it was supposed to be done. And they did a great job also. They've been with us on several projects, and we really appreciate their work. I have to say, there is a history to this project, and I won't go into the long version of it, but Bonnie O'Brien told me this process actually started in about 1997 when the trustees hired a consultant to study the needs of the library and get ready for a round of funding. And then we fast forwarded to 2005, and I can remember very well when the library trustees came in. George Strom was the chairman, and George talked about their budget, and then George talked about the need for a renovation or a new library. And he did a great job advocating for the library that day. But the thing that stood out in my mind, and it still stands out in my mind, was when somebody asked him how we were going to finance the project, George came up with a number and said, well, we're going to have the public, privately we're going to raise $1.75 million. And I have to be honest with you, I exactly said this to the person sitting next to me. Where the hell did he come up with that number? It's like, how are we going to raise that kind of money? And that number stuck, and he was adamant that we could do it. And, you know, George would be so proud to be here today. I know he is in spirit, but George deserves a lot of credit for getting the ball rolling. He really had the energy, he had the passion, and we really appreciate all the effort that George did to make this come to fruition. We also... I want to thank the trustees for all the work you did and for sticking with this all the way through. We had a few stumbles along the way, but we made it. You stayed with it. And the building committee, great, great job. Great job. You really put a lot of time and effort into it. It was a very thoughtful process, and we've had you know, tremendous success. Here it is. The proof is in the pudding. So you all did a great job, and we appreciate your service to the town. There's two other people I want to recognize. I want to recognize, well, actually three. No, actually four. Laurie and Ellen are forces of nature. This would not have happened without them. Laurie, just the energy and the passion and the determination to get it done. Ellen also, but Ellen's such an eloquent speaker. It was always enjoyable to listen to her make a presentation on the library. She just did such a great job. She did a great job advocating for the needs. And Ellen, thank you very much for all the work that you did. Two other people, Matt Hogan, Mary Casey, heading up the fundraising effort. A tremendous effort. It's extremely difficult to raise money for any project. For any reason, it's difficult to raise money, especially when you're looking at big money. And it's intimidating to ask people for money. I can't do it. I really can't. I'm just intimidated by the whole prospect of saying to somebody, I really need your help, I need your money. They did a tremendous job spearheading that fundraising effort. And not for them, truly, we would not have the $1.75 million. So congratulations and thank you for all your hard work. So the only other thing I'm going to say is I can remember my wife used to bring my kids to the library constantly when they were young, right through high school. She loved this place. They love this place. My son has a love of reading that I'm sure came from his mother and came from the library. My daughter is a great reader. She appreciates the library. And my wife really appreciated that we were going to attempt to build either a new library or an addition to the library because she saw the need. And now my kids are grown. We have grandchildren. My wife came in last week and she took a tour of the library, and her expression was the same as mine. Wow. But the next thing out of her mouth was, I can't wait to bring the kids up to the library. And that's what this is about. This is about community. It's about children. It's about knowledge. And we all got together, and we made this happen through a tremendous effort in the town. And now we have this great building. Not just a building, it's a symbol of who we are. It's a commitment to community. And I guess that's really all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, Michael Lappamato, the chair of the Library Building Committee, will speak. I don't think the members of the Library Building Committee knew it was going to be a lifetime tenure. They actually were appointed in 2010, so thank you, Michael, for sticking in there and building this beautiful library.
Thank you, Lori. As Jack Peralt mentioned to me, it wasn't a commitment, it becomes a sentence. So Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this dedication. Well, here we are. This is an exciting moment for our community and for our library. It is a time when the hard work, the commitment, the passion, and the service of so many groups and individuals comes to fruition. The journey has been a long and eventful one, but we have arrived at our final destination. The journey started back in 1998 when a space utilization study of the former library building concluded Shrewsbury needs to consider a greatly expanded library that meets the needs of this growing town and its children. Fast forward to July of 2005. Shrewsbury was approved for a grant of just over $3.9 million. However, the Board of Library Trustees provided a report on a new and more generous grant program and requested that town meeting reject the library project at this time and apply for the new grant program. Moving forward again to July of 2010, the Board of Selectmen appointed a 9-member Library Building Committee, or LBC, to develop this second grant application and manage the proposed renovation and expansion project. Contract drawings, including early schematic plans, were developed, and writing of the grant application continued until the January 27, 2011 application deadline. The town was successful in receiving the new grant, and the LBC hired architects Lamoureux, Pagano and Associates and an owner's project manager, PMA Inc. At this time, I would just like to recognize the original LBC chairman, Mr. Clay Smook, who had to leave the LBC, but whose hard work and leadership had brought us to this point. We now had to choose a new LBC chair, and unbeknownst to me, a conspiracy had been brewing. On that eventful evening of January 15, 2014, just prior to the start of the LBC meeting, I was held hostage in the kitchenette of the meeting room of the original 1903 building. There, fellow LBC members Ellen Dolan and Moira Miller forced me into a corner, and I was not allowed to leave until I finally submitted, and just like at home, my only way out was to simply say, "Yes, dear." And I then became the new chair of the Library Building Committee. As the project progressed, there are many milestones that were reached. The initial project budget of $23,271,371 was approved at town meeting. A construction manager at Rist Fontaine Brothers was chosen as part of the project team. Designs were completed and approved. Bids for all trades were solicited and delivered under budget. Construction began on February 2nd, 2015, and lasted a total of 16 months, as the building was substantially complete by the end of May 2016. This was followed by 2 months of furniture, fixtures, and equipment and IT deliveries, setup and punch list items. There was a $1.75 million private fundraising goal that was not only reached, but surpassed. The forecasted total of the cost of the project is $21 million. The approximately $2.7 million cost underrun is mostly attributable to $450,000 in savings at bid time, $1.1 million in unused contractor allowances and contingencies, $750,000 in unused owner contingencies. All of these savings were a result of good design, good construction management, and a generally good construction market at the time of the bids. There were approximately 30 different contractors who worked on the job, resulting in a peak number of workers on the job site of approximately 65 people, with averages running between 35 and 55. The project encompassed approximately 25,000 square feet in demolition, 32,000 square feet of new construction, and 6,600 square feet of historic renovation. At the beginning of the process, the goals were as follows: an appropriately designed building that would fit the way people use libraries today, and one that would easily adapt to future uses. A building constructed with careful attention to cost without compromising functionality and beauty. And best of all, a building that would be bustling with activity and filled with the people of all ages, backgrounds, and interests. Well, I think these goals have been met successfully, and the result is all around us. On behalf of the Library Building Committee, I wish to thank all of those who made the project possible. The people of Shrewsbury, private donors, state legislators and officials, town officials, the Board of Library Trustees, volunteers, and staff. And a special thank you to my fellow LBC members, Bridget Ruman, Francis Manola Jr., Moira Miller, Jack Peralt, Joan Barry, Robert Cox, Ellen Dolan, and Dan Magardo, who assumed responsibility for this project with not only a great sense of duty, with a deep sense of honor as well. We had a clear mandate and a sense that our work would serve each of you here today. We thank you for entrusting us with this important work, and we celebrate the beginning of our new library. Thank you.
Our library project was made possible by a $7.9 million grant from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. We are honored that Commissioner Roland Oceanbine from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners is with us today. In addition to serving on the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, he has also served as a library trustee in the town of Bolton, where he played a key leadership role in their successful $7 million renovation and expansion plan. Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you.
What a great day for Shrewsbury. This is just fabulous. And thank you for the introduction, Lori, and thank you for the mention of Bolton. It's remarkable how similar this project is on a larger scale to the project I worked on in Bolton. We had a 1903 building that we started with, just like you. We lost at the ballot first time through, had a grassroots campaign, came back and did it again. Is really remarkable. So on behalf of the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, Agency Director Diane Carty, and all the staff, and especially our library building specialists, Rosemary Waltos, Lauren Stera, and Matt Perry, our outreach coordinator, who are here today, I offer a hearty and warm congratulations to you all on this occasion. To all of those who gave your time and your talent and your treasure to make this happen, let it be known that this is a great achievement. 18 years in the works, for sure. David McCullough, the historian, once said with great historical perspective, quote, "I believe that public libraries are among, if not the, most important, most marvelous of all of our American institutions. This is so true, and this, my friends, here today is a marvelous example of the best that a library can be. You have every reason and right to be bursting with pride today, and what a legacy this is for future generations." We at the MBLC are pleased to have provided partial funding for this project through the Massachusetts Public Library Construction Program. The competitive grant award provided nearly $8 million for this project, or just over a third of the total funding. Since 1990, the program has helped over 200 cities and towns in the Commonwealth fund the planning, design, and construction of new, renovated, and/or expanded libraries. It is an outstanding program and key to helping bring many of our older libraries into the 21st century. Funding for this program is authorized by the governor and the legislature. Please take a moment when you have a chance to thank your legislators for their support for library funding. This is very important, and ask them to continue that support and to prioritize state support for public libraries, key as they are to economic and educational development and as intellectual, cultural, and social centers in the community. So, here we stand, 113 years later, nearly to the day, which is interesting, from the day the original building here was dedicated. And we now rededicate this expanded facility in a new century, in a new technological age, and with renewed hope and vision that this library will be vital for generations to come. It belongs now to the entire community and to all those who will follow us in the march of time. Care for it, nurture it, fill it with dreams and wisdom and love. And once again, from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners, congratulations, Shrewsbury. Thank you.
Next, we will hear from Ellen Dolan, our library director. When I think of Ellen, I think of her steadfast commitment to the success of this project. There have been many highs and lows through the years, but Ellen has never wavered. She has led us with graciousness, competence, and humor, and she's always remained calm, which is something I could never do. So Ellen, thank you.
So, good morning. I can barely breathe. I'm so excited about today. This is a glorious day. Thank you for all the kind words from the earlier speakers. I want you all to know that I feel incredibly privileged to have worked with this amazing team, the building committee, all the construction crew, the project management. It's just been a really wonderful project. And I could go along and echo all the thanks that earlier speakers gave to the individuals, the groups, all the people who worked hard to create our new library. But I realize as I look around the room, I'd have to name everyone in this room to say thank you. So I will just give you a general thank you. Before I make my comments, I just want to make two more acknowledgments. One, I want to again acknowledge Laurie Hogan. Laurie, I thank you for the vision that you carried through on this project, for your focus, and for being there in the worst moments and the best of moments. It's been a joy to travel this journey together. But I also want to thank my staff and our staff here at the library, both present, and past. So if I could ask just the staff, maybe raise their hand if all could come to the edge, current and past. I know we have some past staff members. We have Bonnie O'Brien over here, and in the audience we have a great deal of staff members. I feel the need to point out that these individuals constitute what is one of our greatest assets here at the library. Many of you in this room, or maybe watching at home, you can attest to the fact that they provide great service. You know how much they accomplish every day. I think that much of what we are known for at Shrewsbury Library is attributable to this group of people. So I thank you so much for your great work. I can tell you that they make it look easy, but the truth is that the excellence you enjoy for service here at our library is a sort of alchemy. It's involved with a mix of determination, good humor, which we much use every day, resourcefulness, and a strong commitment to our mission of service. So I thank all of our staff, past and present, for making our library so great. So as you know, we have been very busy with the move from our temporary site and getting our library up and running. And unfortunately, at the end of every day, there was a bit of a refrain going around in the back of my brain saying, you have no idea what we will say at grand opening day. But there was too much to take our attention. I was saved by an informal conversation I had with Mr. Bob Tricanian. Affectionately, we call him Chief Joseph. Many of you may know the chief from his great contribution to our community, but also to our new children's courtyard, Children's and Families Courtyard, located just off of our children's room on the lower level. Last week when I was speaking with the chief, I told him I hadn't seen him for a few days and I missed him, and I was wondering if he had been working in his glorious garden. He said, no, I was delivering chocolates to the employees at Town Hall. What everybody does, I guess. So he mentioned that he had run into Mr. Magardo, and he told me that Dan had thanked him for all he had done for the library and all he had done around town. Then he said, Dan gave me a hug. Wait, I said, Dan gave you a hug? Now, I had to process this thought for a minute. All of you in town, all of us know what a remarkable town manager, what a remarkable man our town manager is, dedicated to this community. But thank you. But I have never thought as Dan as a hugger, so it took me a bit. And I told Chief, you know, Chief, that is so amazing. You are changing the world. And he replied, yes, one person at a time. And at that moment, I knew I had my theme for today's discussion, because I have always believed that libraries are about changing people's lives, one person, one moment at a time. We have been doing that since our inception. Libraries across this country are about transforming people's lives, increasing literacy, opening new worlds, and providing resources for work, family, and personal life. Our hard-working employees have been impacting people's lives for a long time with services like our English Conversation Circle, help people learn English and embrace our community, our job seekers or our entrepreneurs programs, services that are focused on babies and preschoolers, building the basic blocks of literacy and encouraging a lifelong love of reading, providing constructive and safe spaces for teens, helping them to see the many opportunities that surround them and helping them head in the right direction, providing the non-denominational, free, and open spaces that bring people from all sectors of the community together in shared activities and shared space, building community as few institutions can do, helping people stay technologically connected and able to use and even enjoy new technologies to enhance work and life, supporting small business people, adult learners, and others who are making progress on their personal and professional goals, providing retirees and seniors a welcoming place to connect and stay engaged. All of this and more, the list goes on and on. One must acknowledge that we were doing this even in our old building with all its troubles, with buckets placed around on rainy days and more. Even in our temporary library, which had very limited space, we were transforming people's lives. But what's new and powerful is this amazing building. With its understated elegance and beauty, its smart design, its functional and flexible layout that so closely matches how people use libraries, and it's every space in the building that is accessible to all. All this and more elevates our sense of what a library can be. It changes our expectations for ourselves as individuals and for our community. The beauty and the functionality of this building is a visual cue that great things can happen here. This beautiful building says that libraries matter to us. It says that our community, each and every member can partake of its riches. As soon as you walk through those doors, you recognize that this is a different kind of space. What's so inspiring, as other speakers have mentioned, is that this building will go beyond serving us, the users of today. I believe that this place will impact the lives of people who come after us. I suspect that 50, 75, and I would venture 100 years from now, the people of that day in the future, they will look on this addition and the changes we made with this project with a kind of pride and affection which we have felt for the original 1903 Jubal Howe building. On their behalf, I am taking the audacious privilege of thanking all of you for creating this gift. I thank you for all your support.
Oh, sure. Oh, he just texted you? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you. Hannah Kane would like to has a message from Senator Moore.
I just wanted to pass along for the senator. Unfortunately, he had an issue with his children this morning that is keeping him from being here, but he wanted to pass along his deepest appreciation to all of you who work so hard on this magnificent project, and to thank all of the townspeople who had worked so hard as well, and to pass along his greetings and his best wishes for a continued vibrant future for this library. He didn't actually say it.
Finally, the last speaker. This is a very exciting and happy day for all of us. But it is also bittersweet, as there are people who have helped make this project possible that are no longer with us, including our former chair, Trustee George Strom Jr., our trustees Carol Brigatti-Cullen and Barbara Carpenter. We are thankful for their work and dedication to this project, and we know their spirit is with us today. Thanks to the Library Building Committee for their efforts, because they designed not one, but two libraries. So as we said, it felt like a life sentence, I'm sure, to all of them. And as Mike said, they brought the project in on time and under budget. We thank Lamro and Pagano, Mike Pagano and his team, who created a beautiful design, as Ellen said, for a library of the future. They've combined our beautiful 1903 building with a new addition, which is state-of-the-art, and it's just such a graceful addition. When you walk through the door, it not only says you're in 2016, but you see a beautiful older building as you look at it when you enter the door. We want to thank our owner's project manager, Pma Consultants, Paul Queedy, for his careful oversight, and Walter of the building process. And we want to thank Fontaine and Construction and all the professionals that worked to make this building possible. And as I walked through the building through this whole process, I saw people that were really committed and dedicated to this project. And it just felt like more than I'm going to just go to work. It felt like They really cared, and they felt like they were doing something really special. We want to thank all the people who are involved in the 2 voter campaigns to approve the town's share of the cost of the project. Paula Bonomo, my co-chair in the 2011 campaign, and Jason Palich, who's here today, the co-chair of the 2013 campaign, and our data wizard, Errol Ethier, who I know is here today. There's Errol. We could not have done that without you as leaders, but also there are so many other people. There were more than over 100 people who helped in both campaigns. We knocked on over 1,700 doors and in the 2013 campaign, and we won by 1,853 votes, which is a number that will be blazed in my mind forever. And it was the largest margin of victory in a debt exclusion election in the town's history. So we thank all the voters who voted in both elections. We want to thank Cush Bosenhard, who's right here in the front, Mary Casey, and Matt Hogan, who headed up the Capitol campaign. Due to the efforts of Cush, Mary, and Matt, and their committees, we succeeded in our commitment to the town and reached our lofty fundraising goal of 1.75. And unfortunately, George Strom was mentioned quite a few times when we talked about 1.75 million. So, okay, George, we're going to really do it. And we did it and exceeded that. Yes. So thanks to all the individuals, foundations, organizations, and businesses who donated to this project. And we've included a listing of all the donors. We have almost 500 donors. Each gift and donation, large and small, was appreciated. Thanks to all the individuals, organizations, and businesses that created this beautiful commemorative book right here. Which highlights the 240-year history of our library. It takes the reader on a journey through the years and serves as a reminder of where we have been and how far we have come. And the book is available for sale if anyone is interested. Thanks to our library director, Ellen Dolan, who has been a joy to work with and outstanding in every respect. Since she came to Shrewsbury in 2005, her leadership, guidance, and dedication to our library and this project has been amazing and inspiring. We could not have done this project without Ellen. Thank you so much, Ellen. A public library is one of the few places open to all without requirements for participation and serves as a focal point where all are welcome. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said during his dedication of the Concord Free Public Library in 1873, quote, "You will come here and get books that will open your eyes, your ears, and your curiosity, and turn you outside in or inside out." These words still ring true today, although we offer much more than books today. We offer a treasure trove of media for all. Our hope, the hope of all of the trustees, is that this new library will serve the people of Shrewsbury for many generations and will always be a vibrant focal point of our community. So thank you. Yes. Thank you. All right, thank you. So what we'll do now is we'll invite everyone to meet us at the main entrance. If you'll go out the door if the public will go out by the door by the common and come around to the front of the building, we're going to be cutting the ribbon.